Hi, welcome back to Iggy's Toy Parade and Soldier Review. Once again, this is your host, Iggy, and today we're going to look at Imperial Japanese soldiers by various makers. And I didn't want to do this to you. I was trying to get everything in one video, but the display shelf that I have there wasn't large enough to include everything. So, what I'll do is I'll wrap this video up and then I'll show you the remainder in another video. I won't be able to show you everything because I think there's still more in storage. Now, I've already showed you some Imperial Japanese in previous videos, but I found a tub in storage when was it? Last Friday or Thursday. And I thought I'd share them with you today. So look forward to another video after this one showing the remainder of what had been in that tub. So what are we looking at, guys? Well, I know there's some of you out there that recognize them immediately because you may have them also. And what we have here is a variety of makers. We have Marx, Airfix, BMC, or King and Country, if you will. And I think it's Toy Soldier San Diego. So what we'll do is we'll do some panoramic sweeps of the display so you can take a look at the figures. And as we go along, I'll try and point out some of my favorite figures for you. So we'll start off on the table here. And these are Airfix. Now, these look like they're, I don't know, they almost look like a dark charcoal gray or something. But, well, what color are they? That's a good question. I think they're a dark OD green. Now, you're going to be surprised to hear me say this, but the Airfix ones are my least favorite. And I'm saying you're probably surprised because you guys know that I really like Airfix a lot. And yeah, that's a deep olive drab color. The reason for it is none of them have helmets. And I know that's a little nitpicky. You're like, well, so what, Iggy? They wore that fatigue cap like that. I hope none of you talk like that. Iggy probably talks like that, but you guys know better. So I don't really care for them. They appear smaller, too, than, say, a Marx. Well, maybe they're not. Like, for instance, here's a Marx figure. They're probably the same. So, of these, what is my favorite? Well, I like this officer quite well. So let's pull him out front and let's take a look at him. I like him. He's a pretty cool looking dude. And what else do I like with the Airfix? Iggy always likes the firing riflemen, especially when we were kids. That was probably our favorite. I have a hat like this, by the way. I got it for $10. I had something wrong with it. I didn't know that until I got it. That's why they sold it so cheap. So when something is too good to be true, it probably is. It's like I used to work with a guy who went out with this really pretty girl. She had legs that were like 10 miles long, really long blonde hair. She was quite pretty. Uh, she was a little bit crazy, I'm afraid to say. And that's putting it nicely. And it made me feel bad for him. He ended up getting married to her, and she had 5 kids by 5 different fathers. So, something probably wasn't right there. And these are some extra Airfix figures I couldn't get to fit up here on the top. Okay, I do have some original Airfix figures up here somewhere. I'm guessing it's these up here, but I'm not sure. Now, these over here, when I was a kid, I used to love playing with these. I didn't own these as a kid. The kids across the street had them. And the kids across the street, their mom was Japanese, but they always identified more closely with their father, who was an American Marine who married a Japanese girl after World War II ended. And she was a pretty little lady, I remember. She didn't like me very much. But for full disclosure, only one mom in the neighborhood liked Iggy. All the other moms thought I was trouble because whenever something went wrong or we did something wrong as a group, they would always blame me. Like once we egged the garage of this girl named Roxanne, which none of us liked her. And I gotta tell you this: we got the eggs at the kids across the street from me's house, which they denied and blamed on me. And their mom would believe it because she didn't like me very much. So my boys would never do that. It's that evil Iggy across the street that causes the problems. So we egged her garage, and I remember I didn't think anything of it. We thought it was funny, and we ran away. And the next day, my parents and my brothers and sister and niece and grandparents, we all went in the station wagon and spent the day at the beach. And we had just gotten home and we were all very tired, because when you're out in the sun, it can tire you out pretty much. And it was a long day. And we're sitting in the car chit chatting. And this guy comes up and he said, "Are you Mrs. Marlette?" And she said, "Yes." And he whips out a badge and says, "I'm Detective so and so." And I'm like, "Oh my God." And can you believe they sent a detective because some kids threw eggs at a garage? But that was what it was like years ago. Nowadays, of course, they don't send anyone unless there's been a shooting or something. Anyway, he showed his badge and said that their so and so at such and such street had been egged, and uh, one of the boys that was involved told the girl. Well, turns out that George had a crush on this girl. The rest of us didn't like her, but George had a crush on her, so he told her that we did it. And the detective went to Chad and Teddy's house, and of course, they promptly blamed me as being the ringleader, which was not true. Iggy was not a ringleader of anything. So the detective said, blah, blah, blah. And I admitted to it and I started crying. And my mom took me in the house and she said she understood. I thought I was going to get punished really bad because here I embarrassed my parents in front of my grandparents. And I thought I was going to get punished really badly. And mom said she understood because when boys have a crush on a girl, they do things like that. And I kept my mouth shut for a change and didn't admit to the fact that I really did not like this girl at all. But I didn't get punished. That's the amazing thing. I didn't get spanked. I didn't get sent to my room. I wasn't grounded. But I tell you what, the experience was so frightening to me, I never did that again. Um, So I guess it had the same effect as having been punished. How did I get off on that story? You guys, I get carried. Oh, I was talking about the kids across the street, the Marx. These are all, of course, reproductions of those original. So some of the details look a little soft because the molds get weary after being used so long from the intense heat and whatnot. And these actually, something I wasn't expecting, say Marx. See that? But I don't think they're Marx. I think these are reproductions. They just didn't grind off that part on the bottom like they were supposed to. And early reproductions made in Mexico, they left that on there. So be careful, guys, when you're buying. If someone says it's original, be careful because they could be Mexican. Now, this is my favorite pose of the Marx. This, of course, looks like it was based on the Bren gun. What was it called? A Type 97? I have my handbook over here. If I wasn't so freaking lazy, I'd look it up for you. My other favorite pose is this one here, the flag bearer. I think he's a pretty cool pose. And my least favorite, because it made no sense to me, even as a kid, I knew that this was probably not too authentic. Oh, here it is. It's up here. This one also says Marx on the bottom. Even us kids knew back then that they didn't take many Japanese prisoners. Well, one, because the Japanese refused to surrender, and two, because the Marines wouldn't let them. uh, there is a pose that's kind of strange looking, and it's this one here. And you'll notice that, look at how high up his knee is. Is that natural? I don't think that looks very natural. But one thing I like about these marks is it includes soldiers with the fatigue cap and also with the helmet with nets on them. So I think that was pretty cool that Marx included both like that. So there's a lot of combat poses here, which when you're a little kid, you like to see. The officer looks like he's holding a machete. See that? That's not a katana or samurai sword or whatever they called those. Oh, these flags are from I think from the Toy Soldier San Diego figures. So these are all Mark's reproduction. Actually, this is embarrassing almost. I think 4 more boxes of them in storage. I got a little carried away with that, but I probably have enough for a battalion at this point. You can see that some of the repros are done in a different shade. It's more of a tan than a yellowish khaki color, as you see there. I think it would have, instead of the guy with his hands behind his head surrendering, if they had another sort of rifleman pose or something. I don't think they have any riflemen such as this one up here. They all look like they're charging with bayonets. There is a figure that looks like he's been shot. Let me see if I can show this guy here. See that? Spin shot. His helmet is coming off. All right, so the next up is the King and Country, or BMC figures, and I have several sets of those because I bought the Iwo Jima playset, and I also bought a bag of soldiers with a header card. Now, I've showed you a lot of those already. These, I guess, were left over or something. I'm not sure. Or maybe these were the ones that were in the header card. I don't know for certain. And these are a little bit bigger. There's like 60 millimeter instead of 54 millimeter. Give you an idea of that. We'll take this rifleman down since he's standing up straight. And then we'll take one of the Airfix marching dudes and we'll put him next to it. Oh, look at that shadow. That's cool. Oh, maybe not so much. Okay. And you can see right away the size difference between the two. One is 60 millimeter, which is, and 54. But they're close enough that you could probably work with them together. Just put one, the taller ones in the back. Okay, so of these, I kind of favor I don't usually like prone figures, but I do like their prone riflemen, which you see here. I like the guy that's kneeling. I like the standing firing figure. I thought they had an officer that was kind of cool. I don't see him now. Is that him there? Anyway, these are the Iwo Jima playset is pretty cool. If you can, I would recommend that you get that because it has a fairly large terrain piece and sort of a simulated Mount Suribachi with the Marines raising the flag for the second time. The famous photograph is when they raised the flag the second time. A lot of people thought the first flag that flew over Suribachi was be the famous one, and there's an admiral that insisted they bring it back down for him for his personal collection, and it turns out that ended up not being sort of forgotten because the famous photograph is when they raised a larger flag. Oh, it says my battery's going to give out. So let me wrap this up for you. We have some more Marx figures over here. You see a different shade there because it's different production runs using different plastic colors. More Airfix here on the top. I do like their officer with the Airfix. And then these, I think, are Toy Soldiers San Diego. They're marked classic toy soldiers. Is that, maybe these are the CTS ones? Oh no, these are probably Toy Soldiers San Diego because it says, what's it say there? SD Soldiers, San Diego Soldiers, 2006. Yeah, these are probably the Toy Soldiers San Diego. They have nice bases on there, a little bit thicker. Some of them you can see what looks like a palm frond. Is it called a frond? I am a good friend of yours. Hello. Again, it looks like this guy looks like he's holding a machete. I do like the camo on the helmet. That's pretty cool. Some of the helmets don't have any netting, but they have different styles there. It's pretty cool. I would recommend these for your collection. All right, I better, I don't mean to cut it short, but I think my camera battery is going to run out soon. So what I'll do is I'll take these down and prepare it for the next group, which is these over here. And so be on the lookout for a part 2 of this video, okay? All right, guys, so take care. I'll see you back at the ranch soon. And oh, by the way, for those of you who enlisted recently, I want to thank you for joining the Indy. Did you guys see Indiana Jones? Everyone's been writing bad reviews about it, but everyone I've talked to that's seen it said they enjoyed it. It's a fun summer movie. So is it like the ones years ago? No. Is he as active as he was when he was 40? No. The guy's 80 years old. Give him a break. Anyway, why did I say that? Oh, because I said Indy instead of Iggy. Thank you for joining the Iggy Army, and thank you for coming back again to see some more toy soldiers. And I'll see you when I do part 2, okay? All right, guys, take care of yourselves. Bye. Sayonara.